Hi guys, Elle here. Welcome back. So I've had a number of lovely people ask to see more of my self-made decks. And they were also asking, how I went about it a little bit. They wanted to know more about what that process is like. So that's what we're going to do today. I will actually, in a minute, flip the camera down and I'll show you guys my tarot decks. Elise, actually, over at Wild Moon Tarot, love you. She just posted a video showing the Oracle deck that she made, and it's beautiful. Doing this kind of stuff is just, it's so much fun. But she actually brought up something I thought was very interesting in her video about her Oracle deck and about how all the images that she used were public domain images. Because she had every intention of reading for clients with these cards. And there's an exchange of money taking place there, so there's no infringement going on and all that. When I made my tarot deck, my first deck here, I had no intention whatsoever of ever using it for reading for other people or for clients or anything like that. I still don't. It was solely intended to be a personal use only deck. I didn't even have any intention of making a YouTube channel or anything like that when I made this deck. But yeah, so I did not limit myself to public domain images. So it felt just like, when I first got a computer, and I would go online and print out cool artwork for my journal that I would cut out and put in my journals or in my books of shadows, or I would even print them out and frame them and put them on my altar. I always would do that with other people's artwork that I thought was really cool. You guys do that too? So I'm not sure how I really feel about, using other people's artwork in just like this video that we're doing here. But, I'm gonna go ahead and show it. It might be kind of a dick move, but it's happening. If I change my mind later, I might take it down if I feel like I'm infringing or offending or anything like that. So if this disappears at some point, that's why. But yeah, just I do not make money off of this deck at all. It is solely for my own personal use. And if you decide to do the same thing, just be careful of those legalities and those issues. You could absolutely go about it the way that Elise did, which I thought was amazing, and use solely public domain images. So how this whole journey sort of started was I had come to a point in my tarot journey, if you will, where I had sort of hit a wall. The tarot overload, I could not possibly read another book at that moment. I couldn't do any more readings, practice readings for myself. There were no more friends left to call. They wouldn't sit there anymore. I couldn't look up any more card interpretations online and card meanings and blah blah blah. So I still wanted to do something tarot related though. My brain was still very much in that place. So I sort of went on the hunt for other tarot exercises, other ways of practicing and things like that. And this was just one that I came across. I mean, there's so many other really cool exercises that have nothing to do with book learning and all that, like tarot music videos and spider diagrams and all sorts of really fun projects. But this one was cool because it was like an arts and crafts project. You got to be creative, you got to be technical. So I started looking into it a little bit more. I looked up blogs and videos of people who had made their own decks. And it came down to two options, two ways of going about it. The first being printing, cutting, and laminating your own deck. It's a cool way to go about it because you really get to do everything yourself. I had even gotten to the point where I had like the laminating machine sitting in my Amazon cart. I was this close. But there's a good video out there, actually. I'll see if I can find it and put it down below of someone who has done that with their own deck. But what happened for me was it was starting to get very expensive. Even just the ink that it cost to print out all these images would have been a little bit expensive. So I went with the second route, which was finding a website card printing sort of company. I used MakePlayingCards.com. There's a number of them out there, however, where they you upload your images and they ship it right to your door and it's done. It's actually the website that I use is very, very easy to use. I've never futzed around much with the other ones. This one just sort of worked for me. I will 100% post a video down below, or post a link to MakePlayingCard.com's YouTube channel, where they will actually walk you through exactly how you upload your images and how you can edit them, and that whole process. It's so simple. Yeah, it's really easy. You know, all you do is the hard part is picking out your images, or the fun part, I should say. But you just upload them onto the website, and you could upload your own artwork, of course. I think that's amazing if you can do that. I'm so not an artist, so that wasn't happening. You could even, I would love to try this one day, like using a collage technique. I guess you'd have to use another like image photo editor to do that on, but where you mishmash different images together to create your tarot card. I did use another photo editor before I uploaded my images. It was just a free website called PicMonkey. And I put all my font, all my text that's on the cards, that down there. I did it through that website, so I'd have a little bit more options to play around with. I believe you can do it through MakePlayingCards though, through their like deck creator program or whatever too. But I used PicMonkey. The whole process was pretty cheap too. I believe they have 1 to 5 decks or something listed for like $16, and then shipping was under $10. I even printed up way more than 78 cards. I printed up lots and lots of extra cards. I'll show you guys some of what I did. And it's still, the whole thing came to under $30, so I think that was money well spent. Okay, so I'm gonna flip the camera down and I'll walk you guys through my self-made tarot decks. Here we go. So this is how I keep my deck, by the way, in this pretty little box with a pretty little crystal on top. But one of the cool things about making your own deck is that you can tailor it to your needs, to the type of reader that you are. I mean, you can pick out like a theme for the entire deck. I really didn't go with one particular theme. I am sort of an eclectic, mishy-mashy kind of tarot reader. I'll take from Matella and Pepys and Rider-Waite tradition and Golden Dawn and Marseille and everything, and that's sort of what this deck is. It's an eclectic mishmash of meanings and of imagery. Yeah, there's definitely some themes that sort of run through with the style of artwork that I chose to put on each card. There's my Fool. There's a lot of stuff like this, where there's, I don't know if you can see it in there. There it is. There's a Metatron's cube back there. But a lot of artwork with that's a little bit more digital, that encompasses a lot of sacred geometry themes and New Age sort of spirituality stuff, you know? I included a lot of my Norse paganism sort of into this deck. My magician is Odin. I stayed away from sort of photography. I don't know why I didn't feel really drawn to put that in here. But that is Helena Petrovna Blavatsky as my high priestess. That was one of the things I knew right from the get-go, right from the birth of the Michelle Tarot, that I wanted Helena Petrovna Blavatsky as my high priestess. She represented a lot of what the high priestess represents for me. She just opened so many doors when I read her works, you know, The Secret Doctrine, you know. My Empress. I often dislike Empress cards. I don't know what it is, so I wanted mine to be kind of freaky. Emperor. I use a lot of his artwork. I think this is a Joffre, I don't know how to say his name, Bochart, a Dutch artist. Does these amazing astrological sort of paintings. Oh, they're beautiful. My Hierophant. 5-pointed star. That's a Bochart too, I believe. Oh, another thing I knew I wanted, of course, was on my lover's card to have 2 women. I love that. So I even went with some with these like kind of Victorian looking images. Here's another Norse one. I got Odin on Sleipnir on the chariot. I decided not to number my cards. Just thought it looked nice this way. It's a little hard to see. It's another Victorian. Is that Victorian? No, I don't know what that is. But she actually is holding scales over there. One of the things that I noticed sort of happened at MakePlayingCards.com was the cards ended up being printed a little bit darker than they were appearing on my computer. So be aware of that, guys, if you do make your own deck through them. Might have to brighten things up a little bit more. I don't know if you can actually see this, guys, but this is my hermit. I found this image online, and he's sort of this cosmic-y, magician-looking wizard guy. And throughout the spirals down there's actually runes. Can you see that? How amazing is that? Love that one. And I went with some, as you can see, some of them are a little bit more classically depicted. I certainly didn't stick to a Rider-Waite-Smith tradition or anything with these cards. Oh, I used her images quite a bit too. I love her artwork that, what's her name? Susan Sedon-Boulay. Sorry if I butchered her name. But there's a little, like a lioness. Can you see that in there? Thought that was beautiful for strength. My hanged man. Of course I went with the Odin hanging from the world tree. And there are runes at the bottom there as well. I used a lot of Alex Gray's artwork too. I love. Isn't that a beautiful death card? Here is my Temperance. Just got like roots down here. This union of opposites. Love. My Devil. I even got some like old. Some of them are a little bit more alchemical. Some of those old like drawings in there. That's my Tower. I should speed up a little bit, huh? Sorry. The Star. It's Flower Life up there. The Moon card I actually had a hard time picking out images for. That was a rough one. Hard to find things that got what I wanted to get in them. I actually printed up a few different Moon cards. This is the one I tend to keep in my deck lately. I'll show you the other ones at the end. The Sun. She's actually like shape-shifting and transforming on the side here into a bird. And my Judgment card. I'm not sure what this is actually supposed to be depicting. It almost looks to me like it's supposed to be like an angel maybe telling Nostradamus or something about the end of the world. But for me, Judgment is a lot about, you know, returning and teaching and passing on what you know. And I feel like that's sort of what's happening to this dude studying down here. You know, his higher self or a higher power is, you know, teaching him. And oh, I love this one. This is my universe or my world card, and it is a depiction of Yggdrasil. So there's like this is Needhug depicted as like an Ouroboros. You know, he's the one who's gnawing at the roots of the world tree. It's got everything in here. It really does. There's Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge. And there's Jotunheim and Niflheim. Love that. All right, into my suits here. These are my wands. I use a lot of really bright kind of artwork in my wands. I have 2 of wands. It really is just like a mishmash of different styles. But it works for me. There's so much for me to draw on these cards. 4 of wands. 5 of wands. Turn your lead into gold. Oh, I did for a second. Let me show you this. That's the only change that I personally decided to make from my majors to my minors. They're all borderless cards. I didn't put borders on them. But for all my majors, I did leave like a black space at the bottom for me to put my text on, or the names of the majors. And then in the minors, you can see I just literally put the text right onto the image itself. My 6 of wands. He's so happy in the fire. 7 of wands. I love that 8 of wands. Isn't that amazing? Some of this artwork, I adore it. 9 of wands. He's soldiering on. Very, very spiritual card. I love that. And that's my 10 of wands. taking what you know and moving forward with it. That one does remind me of the Rider-Waite-Smith card, huh? I had to get birds in my deck. I love birds. A bird just climbed on my foot, actually. Hi, Artie. And then for my courts, I went with princesses instead of pages. I kept everything else the same, knights, queens, and kings, but I decided to go with princesses. I think this one's like an oil painting, but she's got like her salamander and her red monkey. Love that image. This is a Valkyrie. Gotta have some girl knights, you know? Isn't that amazing for the Queen of Wands? And then this guy, this is, I believe, a depiction of Saint Germain that I used for my King of Wands. And then my cups here. I know in the cups, let's see, that's my ace. There he is. I used quite a bit of his artwork. This is an artist named Cameron Gray, I believe. But like the color choices he used and everything, it really spoke to me about, it had to be in the suit of cups. It just had to be. That's another one of his. Isn't that great? There's a little heart right in between the two people. Four of Cups. She's just, look at her. That's the emotion with this card. Just nailed it in that image. This is my Five of Cups. She's working it out, you know? She's working it out. There's another one that actually kind of is Rider-Waite-Smith, huh? I just enjoy that so much, though. This is another Cameron Gray. That's like a hummingbird. You see that? He's reaching out towards. Oh, this is another. I like them all. I picked them all out, so, you know, I like them all. But I like this one a lot. She's actually walking in water, and I feel like it almost takes it a step further than the Rider-Waite-Smith card. You know, it's like we've gone into it, and it's real. Like she's like there's a moon up here somewhere, and she's walking away. That's another Cameron Gray that I used for my Nine of Cups, like that big heart in his center. And then my Ten of Cups. It's hard to see, actually. There is a bunch of like depictions of family, like there's a child holding a grown-up's hand, and a dove, and a rainbow, and the world all up in the tree there. And Princess of Cups. This one's actually kind of androgynous looking. She or he is putting on a mask here. Just works for that page, you know? Trying on new faces. I'm not sure what the origin of the image here actually is, but again, I have the female knights depicted. I really enjoy that. I feel like it's like Arthurian or something. That's Guinevere, maybe. Just works. Queen of Cups. Actually, I really like these two together, the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. She's sort of like Aphrodite almost. And then it's maybe a little hard to see. Can you see those horses even like flying out of him? And he's got his heart center. He's living from his heart. And into my swords. Ace of Swords. That's a Masonic image. It's another Alex Gray. Does not just work for the Two of Swords. I adore this card. Two together. Three of Swords. I love how this image goes from the dark, almost death at the bottom, up into the light, and the serpent's carrying a key. I think he's actually like made of flowers or something. There's birds in there too, and parrots. Four of Swords. Love that image. That stillness. It's my Five of Swords. That was actually a really hard card to pick out an image for also. But it works. They're just like shadows. Six of Swords here. You know, part of this image for me is, or this card meaning is, you know, helping others even who are sort of vulnerable, and to me that's sort of what's happening here, what he's pulling and holding on to. Oh, this one's kind of fun. I got my Fox reference in the Seven of Swords. That's another Susan Boulay. And it's a little hard to tell in the camera here, but the fox is the person here. That's him wearing the clothes, and he's holding up the mask of a human face over his head, or over half of his face. Eight of Swords. Right? I mean, come on. That totally works. And my Nine of Swords. I love that one. It's like you're just ridding yourself of everything that haunts you. And then I did go with like a death depiction for the Ten of Swords, but this is sort of an Egyptian version, if you will. And the Ka is rising from the dead person. Their spirit is free. My Princess of Swords. Odin again as my Knight of Swords. It works though. Queen of Swords. And my King of Swords. Loud motorcycle, sorry. And onto my discs. Oh, how cool is that one? I enjoy that crazy peacock so much. So much symbolism with the peacocks. I even like associated with the phoenixes sometimes. My Two of Discs. Three of Discs, that helping hand. I decided to go with discs too. You could rename your suits. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you like. Five of Discs. This was another one. I had a very hard time sort of finding an image that I thought really, really worked for this card. And I'm really happy with the choice I made. I feel like, you know, his music, he's playing like what is the thing called? I forget. Whatever instrument he's playing. And like, that's him. That's how he's seen through this music. You know, what you put out into the world and how others see you has a lot to do with the Five of Discs for me. My Six of Discs. Platonic Solids. Seven of Discs. I went with this reminded me of like a cornucopia and of all this abundance and, you know, all this increase. Love that. My Eight of Discs. Finding your inspiration and doing what you gotta do, you know? Nine of Discs. I really like this card, even though it's, you know, centered around an animal. I feel like the animal becomes you in this card, or me in this card, and the runes are just like the energies that make up our entire world. You know, all the energies that run through, and you're, you know, in them, and you're comfortable, and you're independent, and you're happy there. You're at home there. I won't do card interpretations now. Sorry. And then my Ten of Discs. It has a lot to do with, you know, generations and things. So I love that it's an old couple with their third eyes wide open. And then my Courts. So my Princess. My Knight of Discs. Queen of Discs. Look at her holding her lotus and her caduceus. It's an Alex Gray. And lastly, my King of Discs. Ah. Alright, so that is, you know, my tarot deck, basically. I do want to show you guys one more thing. I think I mentioned this in another video. There they are. Normally, when I have this deck, when I'm using this deck, I have these cards mixed in there also, because I made what I lovingly refer to as a Minchiati extension for this deck. So it's like, you know, those extra cards. I chose to add in, oh, those are my significator cards that I printed up extra, by the way. I don't really use them, but, you know, I thought they were pretty. I wanted to do it. Yeah, but the Minchiati, I don't work with extra virtues, even with my other Minchiati decks. I usually take those out, or I'll use one or two to replace the High Priestess that's missing, and then even in some decks to replace I like to create an Empress, because it's not really a woman. But what I printed up here was 4 element cards, and then the 12 signs the zodiac cards, and these are all the artwork's all by Geoffrey Beauchart. I'm so saying that wrong. I know I am. But anyway, this is air, and it has the 3 air signs, the zodiac, on it. Isn't that beautiful? Fire with the 3 fire signs. Water, the water signs. and earth with the earth signs. I like edge the side of these two so they fit right in. They have the same exact backings. And then these are the zodiac cards. That's Libra. His paintings, if you've never seen this guy's paintings, they are just amazing. Gemini. I did mix things up a little bit with the extension part of this deck. I didn't keep the titles at the bottom for all of them. I sort of put them wherever I thought they looked best. But it still fits in with the rest of the deck perfectly, you know? Leo. Aquarius. Pisces. Aren't they pretty? Sagittarius. Cancer. Capricorn. Aries. Virgo, that's me, that's me. So that's the MakePlayingCards extension. Normally, I put it all together. And it's a nice size, you know? It works. And then what I have here actually is just a few of the extra cards I printed up. You can use them as bookmarks or to test things out. So we got just some cool images that I really liked. These I use as bookmarks and whatever. I was messing around with maybe printing up my own Rider-Waite-Smith deck. That one didn't work out too well, but I might do that at some point. And then, like I said, I had a hard time with the Wheel of Fortune, so there's 2 alternate Wheel of Fortune cards that I made. An alternate Hermit card, an alternate Temperance card, and then some other random cards. This is the card, actually, that inspired me to make a whole nother tarot deck based on, like, pop culture and TV shows and things like that. So I love that 6 of Wands. I trade him out for the other one sometimes. And then that one's also from a movie, Princess Mononoke. And I'll trade that one out sometimes. Here's 2 alternate moon cards. This one's from like Lord of the Rings. I mess around with them sometimes. And then these are actually really pretty, aren't they? I use these as alternates for my MakePlayingCards element cards. Earth, air, fire, and water. And then this was one more thing that I did that I was really excited about, but I ended up not really taking to using these cards in my readings. I have an extra king and queen of each suit here, and these are photographs of authors that I really enjoy, mostly theosophic authors. There's like Krishnamurti and Joseph Campbell and Paramahansa Yogananda. Isn't that cool? Those like pictures and Madame Blavatsky there too. I tried reading with it, it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but it's kind of cool to have these on the side. Yeah. So I think I am going to stop the video here. I am going to make a part 2 right now, actually, where I show you guys that pop culture tarot deck that I was talking about. I'll do a full walkthrough of that, and then I'll just briefly show you guys the other decks that I made, too. There's like a Lenormand and a couple other old tarot decks. Stay tuned. I look like Amy Winehouse today.